Hello and Happy New Year. Today is January 1st, 2025, and my name is Nikki, and I have decided today to start vlogging my fitness journey for 2025. So, what will that journey be? I've decided to train and compete in the Knox Classic NPC Knox Classic bodybuilding competition this year in the new division of Fit Model. Now, this is a little bit of a fortuitous circumstance, maybe serendipity, because I've always wanted to compete in the bikini division, but I've seen the bikini competitors get fitter and fitter, and it seemed more and more out of my reach. And I've been following bodybuilding, especially for women, in the bikini division for several years now. And I've always wanted to get myself into that sort of stage fitness. And I'll go back a little bit more in just a second. But essentially, it was a coincidence. About 3 weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, I was poking around a little bit on the internet, seeing who had won Miss Olympia. I hadn't followed it in a few months. And I was just getting inspired again and decided maybe 2025 is my year. I'm in the throes of a bit of a midlife crisis because I just turned 50 in October. And today is the youngest I'm ever going to be. And if I don't do this now, it'll just get harder and harder. And lo and behold, a few days later, they announced the new Fit Model division. And so I thought, okay, this is a sign for me to do it. In the master's category, obviously over 50, true novice. So I'm really excited about it. And I decided to take things a little bit further, and I've hired a coach through fitbodyfusion. Her name is Yvette. And I'm really excited to work with her because in our first conversation, I knew right away I liked her, but in our first conversation, she casually dropped the term, the law of diminishing returns, speaking about fitness and bodybuilding and nutrition. And I was like, okay, normally I have to teach my students quite a bit for them to understand what the law of diminishing returns is as it relates to medieval economic European history. And she just casually dropped it. And I'm like, okay, this is a match made in heaven. I don't know a lot about economics, aside from medieval economics, but I do know about that. So anyway, to make a long story short, I decided to hire a coach. So I'm putting my money literally where my mouth is, and I'm investing in this journey for accountability. And, I spend my family spends probably $500 a month in my daughter's competitive gymnastics, probably just that much for my son's competitive fencing. Why aren't I investing the same type of value in my own health? So anyway, I've hired a coach. We've just started today. So I also thought I would talk a little bit about how this even got on my radar. And I think it was about 25 years ago. I was in my early 20s, maybe mid 20s, working at a dental office in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. So I'm Canadian, but I do now live in Tennessee in the States. I've lived here since 2008. And I worked for a dentist as the receptionist. This was between my undergraduate and before going to graduate school. And I worked for a dentist who had several practices. And in one of the practices, there was a dentist named Uchi Odiatu, who was a bodybuilder. And pretty sure he competed in Mr. Manitoba, maybe even Mr. Canada. And his wife, Carrie Odiatu, was an IFBB fitness competitor, nationally ranked, and really, really impressive power couple at the time. And so some friends and we would go to a few shows. We went to a few shows, and I was always very, very inspired. But this was long before bikini was a category. So it just seemed like a very unattainable fitness goal, but I was always really impressed and inspired by the men and women on the stage. Lo and behold, 25 years later, not only is there bikini, but now there's this fit model division that a woman like me in her 50s can actually get involved in the sport in a realistic way. And I've been following all the people that I follow in the industry that are related primarily to the bikini division. Bikini in the Brain with Adam and Ashley. I like to watch Laura Lee's podcast with, I think it's Phoebe, the woman in the UK, although I think she lives in Dubai now. Just mostly the personalities in the industry is what I largely follow. They're all saying the same thing, that this is a really good thing for the sport because it's going to boost the numbers, and there's going to be a lot more people like me who can fulfill these life goals in a very attainable way without necessarily wanting to, make it a career. This is a life goal, but also something I would like to stay involved in. We'll see. Today's day one, right? I could be changing my mind. But I thought, along with the coaching accountability, the financial commitment I've made, because it's expensive, I also thought I would do a social media commitment with a YouTube channel, an Instagram that's dedicated to this journey. I'll probably do a weekly vlog as much as I can, with being busy with work, as well as having little kids who are very busy and a husband who's very busy. So I'm going to do my best to vlog once a week and just show my progress and what I've been up to that week, and sort of what it's like to be a busy mom in her 50s trying to do something that's so a little bit about my athletic background. I've always been athletic, but I've never been any sort of professional athlete or collegiate athlete or anything like that. I grew up playing ice hockey, ringette, which is a woman's version of ice hockey, because when I was a kid there was not really a lot of women's ice hockey, so we played ringette. So I've always been very athletic, played basketball, soccer, all that kind of stuff, but never competitively. I've done mini triathlons. I love to swim, I love to bike. Running I loved to do, but like I said, my knees, maybe I didn't say it, I don't know, maybe that was in a previous cut. My knees always have different plans for me when it comes to high impact sports. So, and now I'm a competitive fencer. And when I say competitive, it's absolutely amateur, but our whole family fences. We've been fencing for a couple of years now, and it's probably my favorite all-time sport that I've ever done. And so I do have a reasonable amount of fitness. So I'm not coming into this completely cold, but I am absolutely an amateur and have never been more than a hobby athlete, right? Getting interested in certain things and just having fun with it. So I'm a fairly healthy eater. I like nutritious food. I like to track calories and macros. I'm not very good at it, so that's where the coach I think will help a lot. And I do enjoy lifting weights. It's not my go-to exercise. I'm more of a, hey, let's jump into a spin class or hit the pool, but I do enjoy it. So it's not going to be something I'm going to dread. So that's basically my background. And I will probably not feel very confident in putting any before pictures just yet. I'll maybe save that for later on once I start to see some gains. And I will, like I said, post, maybe once a week. I'll also be forming the Instagram account. So all that information will be below in the description box. So come along if you're like me and you're a woman who feels at her age, at any age really, excited about this new possibility in Fit Model Division, please come along on the journey with me. And I would love your support. So if you could hit the subscribe button, follow me on all the social media platforms, I would love to have you along. So thank you for tuning in. I'll show some footage from just today, since today is day one, and then I'll tune back in, fingers crossed, in a week. Cold and rainy. You can see the tell my face the damage I've been doing this holiday season.